Hello, everyone. My name is Eric Keefe, editor-in-chief of The Quintessential Gentleman, and today we are talking to Mr. Marcus Callender. What's going on, my brother? How are you?
I'm good, man. What's up? What's up?
I'm doing well. I'm doing good. Everything's all right. How's everything on your side?
Good, man. It's Friday. Friday's always a good day for me. The sun's out. It's still cold. I'm in New York.
You're in New York. I just left New York.
Oh, you did? Good. It's cold. It's cold, man. And I think next week is about to be even colder. So, but the sun's out today. So, that always puts me in a good mood. You know what I
Good.
mean?
Awesome, awesome. Well, we are talking to you today. You were also, one, you were part of the Wu-Tang series on
This is
Hulu,
true. Yeah. Yep.
which you played Oliver Power Grant,
Yes, I did.
as well as Power, you played Ray Ray.
Yes.
You know, we got
Yeah.
to be able to separate the person from
I
the character.
know. I know. It's funny how that happened, right? Yeah.
Oh, perfect. And then also we're going to dive into this new project that you have coming in, which is a play about spades. I don't even want to get into that yet because we're
Okay.
going to get
Okay.
into that. But first, I
Okay.
want to know, how did you start acting? What inspired you to
Man. So I started when I was in high school. I had a teacher named Miss Bauman. Shout out to Miss Bauman. She was an English teacher. I wasn't when I was in high school. Like English class wasn't that fun to me because there's a curriculum and you're supposed to read these books and like none of those books would ever appeal to me. So usually that was a class I would fall asleep in, basically. So it wasn't until I got to, I want to say 11th grade, and I had a teacher named Miss Ballman, and she kind of flipped the script a little bit, and she was really into theater, so she had us read a lot of plays. So that already like kind of like, all right, it's more interesting. I really enjoyed her as a teacher. So when we would read the plays, sometimes she would have us act out the scenes, for fun. And we were reading a play called The Crucible by Arthur Miller. And, a scene came up and she's like, hey, does anybody want to come up and read this scene? And, I'm just like, all right, sure, fuck it. Yeah, I'll come up and do it. I was kind of like a class clown in high school too. You know what I mean? I was one of those people that, I was smart. I didn't like school like that. You know what I'm saying? Like I had to be interested. So I said, fuck it. Yeah, I'll come up and read. Sure. I'll act. And, next thing you know, we did the scene, and the scene was kind of like a serious scene. And I did the scene, and like the whole class was like, kind of like, oh shit, like that was actually good. And so Miss Bauman was like, oh my God, you you have to, you're an actor. And I was like, get the fuck, what you mean? Because at the time I was more of an athlete. I was on the basketball team, I was on the baseball team. That was like more my thing. I didn't know what I wanted to do career wise yet, but I was into sports. So her telling me that was just kind of like, what? No one's ever told me that before. So, okay. But it just so happened that we were doing, or they were putting up a play called A Raisin in the Sun
Okay.
in my high school at the time. So she said, look, you need to audition for this show. I think you got something. I'm going to talk to the drama teacher, da 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 da. I said, all right, sure. I did it because I loved her so much as a teacher. You know what I mean? So it's like, if she saw, that's why it's like, yo, shout out to the teachers, man. Teachers are so important, whether public school, private school, whatever. Teachers are very important because they affect such a pivotal moment in your life, especially like say like high school, So shout out to the teachers.
Oh,
So, she was like, yo, like you need to audition for this play. I said, I'm gonna do it because you want me to do it. All right, cool. I auditioned for it, ended up getting the lead role, and I've
awesome.
literally been acting ever since. You know what I mean? Like I did the play, and I caught the bug, as they say. You know what I'm saying? Like after I did it, it was about to be summer break, and I remember talking to the drama teacher, like I need to. How do I keep doing this over the summertime? Like, what do I, is there any programs that I could do? So she told me about some programs. So, I did something at the public theater I did like a Shakespeare intensive over the summer, so that was cool. I just got myself more engulfed in the theater community. So, by the time senior year came, I didn't know you could go to school for acting.
Oh,
At
wow.
the time, I didn't even know you could do that.
Yeah.
So, everything happens for a reason. At the time, there was a recruiter from SUNY Purchase. And, talking about the school and whatnot. And, she said, hey, would Purchase be someplace you're interested? I said, yeah, but, I think I'm into the arts. I want to find something. She said, oh, well, Purchase has one of the best acting programs in the country. I said, really? Because, SUNY's like it's a state school. So, you know what I mean? So I said, really? So she told me the information. I auditioned, got into the school. It was, I remember getting the phone call from the dean of the acting department. It was March 12th. I still remember that date.
Oh, wow.
It's crazy. It was March 12th. I came home from school. My mom's like, you got a message. Back in the day when people used to call the house phone.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, yo, you got a message from the school. I said, get out of here. So I called the number back and got the news. I auditioned for some other schools. Glory to God, I got into all of them.
Awesome.
I even got, one of the schools I got into was Syracuse, and they gave me a full ride.
Oh, wow.
Now, when I tell you, my grades were not full ride worthy, especially at a Syracuse,
Right.
but they gave me a full ride because they loved my audition so much. But I still ended up going to Purchase because I just felt Purchase was the best. Yeah. So it was just kind of like, they called it a cheaper Juilliard, basically, because you get the same kind of training. You're basically learning from the same instructors. So, I went the Purchase route, and my career kind of just took off from there.
What year did you graduate high school?
I graduated high school in 2008.
Okay. Because I'm thinking about it, and that's around my time. Athletes normally not doing the drama thing, right?
Exactly,
so exactly. It's a bit more acceptable, and people are more engaged in it, which I'm happy for, that the younger generation is actually able to explore more opportunities. Right. So for you to be an athlete and then go, on the
drama, I mean, now, I wasn't like D1, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't like that.
Okay.
Even though, I was all right.
Right.
But I wasn't like, I wasn't, being looked at as, fun fact, I was in high school around the time of like Sebastian Telfair, Lance Stevenson. Like Lance Stevenson came to my school and dropped 60 on us. Crazy. No, Telfair did that. Telfair dropped 60. Crazy.
Wow.
I went to telecommunications high school. Shout out to telecommunications. It's in Brooklyn. Yep. So I lost my train of thought.
Go ahead.
I was not a D1 player like that. So it was just kind of like, remember, I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do. Like, I love music, so like I kind of wanted to do something involving music, not like make music per se. Like, I was thinking of being an audio engineer. And then, but I was also like really into like tech and computers. So I was like, maybe I'll go into the tech field. I didn't know, like nothing kept my interest until I started acting. Like when I started acting, it literally felt like, this was what I was made to do. You know what I mean?
So it's funny that you speak about kind of theater and being in a play, which answers my question why Spades was a play instead of a series or a movie.
Exactly. But it will be.
Exactly. We recently did a post. I wrote an article about theater and how many prominent actors have the background of theater. I would love for you to speak a little bit more about what theater kind of brings to the industry that if you don't have that background, you can kind of tell.
Oh yeah, you can tell. Because so to me, and this is no shade to, actors that, went straight to on-camera work. I'm not knocking that, but theater is the foundation. You know what I mean? That's, in my opinion, that's where you learn how to act. Because, you can't cut, you can't, I messed my line up, let me go back. Theater is live and on demand. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't go back. You got to be present and in the moment. And it's also where you learn a lot of technique, technique, whether it comes to like your voice work, your speech work, how your physicality, how do you move in this space? Because that's important too. Like when I go see plays, if I don't believe your body, nothing out your mouth matters to me. You know what I mean? Because I need to see what's going on in your entire body, the whole. As I like to say, it got to be in my bones. And I feel like with theater, the hardest materials I've ever worked on have been plays. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because, with a play, you're going on a journey and every night is different and fresh and you have to, be present and in the moment but that's exciting. You know what I mean? Because something's going to fuck up. Just know that. You know what I'm saying? But that's the magic of theater. It's not supposed to be the same every night. Because you know what I mean? Thursday ain't the same as Friday, which ain't the same as Saturday, which ain't the same as Sunday. You know what I'm saying? So with theater, I feel like theater is where you get your foundation. Because when you take what you've learned in the theater and you translate that to film, the transition is much smoother as opposed to, you get people that come from TV and film and bring them on stage. It doesn't work out so much because, first of all, you can't even hear them. Yeah. That's usually an issue because, when you're on TV, when you're shooting a film, you're mic'd. So being able to project, right, to the back of the theater is not a requirement. So, when you get these TV film actors and they come on stage, they micing them up on stage. That's all, that's a bit of a like, yeah. Oh, you ain't do your voice work. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Awesome. So, let's talk about you getting a role on Power, which, if no one remembers who he is, Ray is the one that shot Ghost's daughter.
Yes.
And that was
it's me.
The one that, and everything went downhill from there.
Officer Raymond Jones, yes.
So what was it like? I want to know, actually, how did you get the role?
I auditioned for it. But here's the thing. I didn't know that the role was going to take the arc that it did, honestly.
Right, because you were supposed to only be in
one episode.
Okay.
One episode. It was the last episode of season 10. Yep. Season 10, I'm bugging. The last episode of season 3, episode 10. Yep. So I was on set. I was doing the scene. I don't know if people remember from that episode where we cuff up Tariq and then we bring him in the car and we kind of punk him and he me 50, Anika Noni Rose, and he realizes we fucking with you. We're actually some dirty motherfuckers and we trying to work with you type shit. So I did that scene and Courtney Kemp, the creator of Power, she was on set. Shout out to Courtney Kemp as well. Congratulations. She just got engaged. Yeah. So she was on set. I did the scene and she said, look, I really loved you. Because she also, what's great about Courtney Kemp is that she's a collaborator. So, we did a couple of takes and then she just kind of was like, yo, do your thing. I love what you're doing. You could go off script, blah, 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 blah. So we did the scene. I rapped for the day. And she said, look, I want to bring you back next season. I said, really? She said, yeah. I like what you're doing with this character. I want to bring you back next season. Now, for people that know, in this industry, it's fickle.
Yep.
People tell you that
all the time.
But, you know what I'm saying? So I took it with a grain of salt. It was like, okay, look, if you want to bring me back, I will be back. Right. Sure. Lo and behold, reached out to my peoples. Hey, we want them for these dates. I came back. So they're very top secret over there with the scripts. So, I would come do an episode, but we don't know what's happening until the table read. You know what I mean? And the table read is usually like the Thursday or Friday before the week we're filming the episode. So I come to the table read. I'm highlighting my lines, and I read the scene, and I'm like, looking around. Everybody else, Lala was there. Why is his name?
Amari.
Amari was. Everybody was there,
Yep.
and I'm looking around. I'm like, y'all, have y'all read this? They said, yeah. People ain't gonna fuck with you. I said, yo, this is crap. I'm like, you want me to kill?
So how was the response to that? And I guess you as the person, and now like living with such a beloved scene character, series, and now you one of the reasons why people are, how has that been received?
I mean, look, man, it's people haven't forgotten. You know what I'm saying? It's like no matter how long it's been, it's like, nah, nigga, you still Ray that killed, that little girl. Why'd you have to kill that? If I had $1 for every time someone has said, why'd you have to kill? Because it's almost like they literally say like, yo, you're a great actor, man. Can I take a picture with you? But first, why you had to kill her? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's just something people just got to say. And I say the same thing because it was in the script. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It was in the script. Awesome. But I felt at the same time, I felt, very honored that she, decided to make me this villain. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because, with Power, Power has had multiple villains. You know what I mean? So to be in the villain world of Power, it's an honor.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, and it's like, once I got that, it's like I took it and ran with it. I said, I'm going to have fun with this.
I was say it was a little bit, kind of foreshadowing. So it was Power, you were in Power, and then you played
Power, right?
Oliver Power Grant.
Right.
How was it being on the Wu-Tangs on the set?
Oh man, that was one of the best experiences I've ever had filming something. We did 3 seasons of that. It really felt like everything you would think would happen on a set of a Wu-Tang show was happening. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was a blast every day. We had a big cast, so we all kind of shenanigans were going. But it was fun, man. It was beautiful to be retelling this story that a lot of people were so curious about. Whether people know about how the Wu-Tang came to be, or some people had no idea. You know what I'm saying? And then to play someone who people don't know who Power is unless you know.
No, right.
Because Power's a behind the scenes guy, but he's the guy.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, he's the guy.
Right.
So to play that role and to bring that to life and to honor him with that, absolutely. I mean, me and Power talk all the time to this day. Like, we're very close. We got close, while filming, and that relationship sustained even after filming.
Awesome. All right. So now your next thing that you're working on, where you're the writer and director of Spades, the play, which, okay, you want to dip yourself all the way in here.
Yeah.
I was going to ask, before we get to the reasons why and the different roles that you play, I want to know, when did you learn how to play spades?
I learned to play spades because I'm Caribbean. So, spades is not like a thing for us. It's more so like dominoes.
I like the disclaimer. That works.
Right. So I did not grow up playing spades. Right. We wasn't playing spades in Jamaica. We wasn't playing spades in Barbados. It's just not a thing. Yep. So for me, I got introduced to it around 2015, which is when I started writing the play. It was while I was learning how to play that inspired me to write this play.
Wow.
So, writing has always been this like thing that like, you know what I'm saying? Once again, shout out to Miss Ballman.
I'm gonna say
So,
for somebody who started this interview saying, "Yeah, I didn't really like English like that." You doing a lot of
oh, English is, you know what I mean? Like, I love, you know what I'm saying? Like, I have a
right,
lot of fun with the English language.
right.
So, it is crazy how it came to be, but that's why I say teachers are so important, is because Ms. Bauman for me changed my perspective of
Okay.
what literature could be and is.
Yeah.
And one of the things that she encouraged me to do was write, because we would have to write about things that we read, or you know what I'm saying. But like she kind of started or planted the seed, I would say, for me in terms of, how to make your writing personable and like really find your voice in your writing. You know what I mean? Like, because the essays I would write for her weren't the same kind of essays I was writing for my other teachers. You know what I'm saying? But also too, they didn't give the same kind of effort, and they didn't have the same approach that at least interests me.
Yeah.
So that was kind of like the foundation. I was in MCC Youth Theater Company when I was in high school as well. This is something I did senior year. It was one of the things that my drama teacher told me about. And in that program, there was like the acting side and there was the writing side. You could do either one or you could do both. And I was always like, I'm just an actor. I'm just an actor. I'm just an actor. And people are like, why don't you just write something? Why don't you just write? I'm like, I don't do that. You know what I'm saying? Because then I also too, like, I had a bit of imposter syndrome for a while, in my early stages of writing, because I didn't know I didn't know if I'd be good enough because I didn't go to school for it. You know what I mean? Because as someone who, went to an acting conservatory, to me, it's like, when it comes to acting, like, you can't tell me shit. I trained in that. You know what I mean? I know how to do that.
Yeah.
So when it came to writing, it was like, damn, like, I didn't go through training or whatever. But in my opinion, I think actors make the best playwrights, in my opinion, because we have because a lot of the time, sometimes you'll read a script and you'll think to yourself, no one talks like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody talks like that. And, sometimes a script feels like you're reading an essay or a New York Times article or something like that. You know what I mean? But it's like, I thought, where's the dialogue? I personally, dialogue is kind of like my strength in writing. Like, I can write dialogue all day long. So I would
So that's
say,
what
like,
got you.
huh?
Oh, I was gonna say. So that's what got you. So when you were writing, so you learned how to play spades, and then you started to write this play.
So this is what happened. So I was learning how to play because, at the time, I was hanging out at my friend's house a lot, and they like to play spades. Excuse me. They like to play spades. And I'm like, yo, I want to learn how to play. You don't know how to play? No,
The
I don't know how
typical
to play.
response. Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, we're learning how to play and we'd be playing. But what was interesting is that, I mean, a spades game in itself is drama.
Yes.
But what was interesting is that, like, while we're playing, we're talking about all kind of other shit. So the conversation kind of took more precedent than the game, and we would never finish the game. Every time we would never finish because we would get caught up in the convo. You know what I'm saying? But like, not only is the convo kind of crazy, it's like, I'm talking like, the liquor's flowing,
Yeah.
weed is smoking. You know what I mean? So like, and we're close friends. You know what it's like when
Yeah.
you're hanging with your your peoples. You know what I'm saying? You have conversations with them you wouldn't necessarily have with people that don't know you like that because you don't want to be judged, or you know what I'm saying? Like, you talking with your peoples.
Yeah.
So that's what was going on, and I was like, yo, like, this would be a dope ass play.
Yeah.
Because I went and saw a play. It was called The Money Shot by Neil LaBute. I have a little funny little joke about that in the play, actually. It's called The Money Shot. I saw it and I was like, yo, I really like this play because it was a simple play, but it was a play where the conversation is what drove the play.
Yeah.
And I loved it. I saw it twice. I loved it. I was like, yo, this play is dope. I just wish it was an all-black cast. You know what I'm saying? I was like, I wish it was just black people doing this same shit. So I kind of just took that concept a little bit, and I was like, yo, I'm going to start writing this play. I didn't know it was going to be called Spades when I started writing it. I just started writing it. I was like, yo, like, I'm going to...
Oh, I was going to say, so is it more of it's a night out with your friends and you just so happen to be playing spades? That's more of how it is, instead of like, and if you want to learn how to play spades, go watch this play.
No. So the play is not about spades.
Got you.
It's just spades is the event.
Got it.
Spades is what brings these four friends together this Friday night. You know what I mean? Like, this is something they do every Friday.
Okay.
So this is a Friday night. What's different, though, is that, because, you know, the three main characters are Gil, whose house they're at, Corey, and Andre. They're friends. They went to school together. They're best of friends. Gil decides to invite one of his coworkers from work, a random. You know, this is something he does. You know, this is someone who makes friends with anybody. So he decides to invite one of his friends from work. She don't know how to play.
Got it.
That's a problem.
Got it.
She told him she knew how to play, but it's like, she don't know how to play. Okay. She was also kind of interesting about her is that her name is Nefertiti, by the way. That's her character's name. Okay. What's interesting about her, because mind you, these characters are like 23 years old, fresh out of college. You remember what that time was like when you're like trying to figure it out, and you know you're new to being an adult. Yep. You got this woman named Nefertiti who's a grown ass woman. She about 30 something.
Oh wow. What
the hell she doing with these little 20 something year olds? You know what I'm saying? So already it's like, who's this? And she kind of fine too. Okay. So the pot is getting stirred a little bit. Here's the other thing. That's at stake. So Corey and Andre had a little situation 3 days prior to this game of spades. What's the situation?
Wait, do you want to tell us?
No, actually, no. I ain't gonna tell you.
Stop you. All right.
I'm glad you stopped me, because I have a friend who's a playwright, and she always is like, "Stop giving away."
Yes. Okay. Perfect. So that's the story. All right. So you yourself have never done Broadway, but you did it off Broadway, right? Yeah. Before. Okay. So why was it so important for this? Why did you want to write a play? Even given your own interest in, kind of theater and things like that.
I just think theater is just really interesting, and it allows for more, in my opinion, creativity to take place. And I think like something like a game of spades needs to be seen and experienced live. Okay. You know what I mean? Because that's the thing. So first of all, I started writing this play 10 years ago, 2015. Okay. Oh, wow. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's been a journey to where it's at now. You know what I'm saying?
Where are we now?
Oh, we done now. We got the script.
And it'll be the idea
this summer in New York.
Okay, in New York.
Because here's the thing too, it's not, we're not just gonna be like, oh, come to the theater and see this play. We want to create a whole experience. Okay. You know what I mean? I'm talking like you come, you see the play, and the way we're gonna have the seating is that we're gonna have the stage in the middle, and the audience is sitting around, kind of like a round style, because I want the audience to feel like they're right there in the apartment with them. You know what I mean? Like the actor could look over his shoulder and somebody's sitting right there. I love that because I want to make it immersive, and I want the audience to feel like they're there. I want them to feel like they could respond, react. You know what I'm saying? Like the audience is kind of like the fifth character, let's say. Okay. You know what I'm saying?
Person watching the stage game.
Exactly.
Waiting for you to come. I'm waiting for my turn. Yes, got it.
Exactly. So it's like, you come, you see the play, and then after, we'll have some stuff set up. If people want to get a game going, You know what I'm saying? If not, that's cool. You could chill. We're going to have a DJ playing. You could talk to the actors if you want. They might be playing a game. It's just, I want it to feel like you at the barbecue every time you come and see this show. You know what I mean? I want it to feel like you're at home, because at the end of the day, we're celebrating. I feel like Spades is such a staple in the culture, man. It's such a staple in the culture. And let me ask you this. Have you ever heard of a play called Spades, or a play about Spades, or any kind of theater or TV or anything that has where Spades is the foundation?
Not.
Exactly. That's why I know this is going to be a motherfucking hit. I just need people to come and see it. You know what I'm saying? Because
once you announce everything, you should make sure you let us know. We
absolutely
will let people know. But it will be in New York. Listen, how is it going? Go ahead.
So because of this formula, in terms of like, you know, you're coming in and it's like you at the barbecue.
Yeah.
We want to travel with it.
Nice.
You know what I'm saying? So our first one is going to be in New York, and we want to take it to Atlanta right after that. I think Atlanta will eat it up. We want to take it to Atlanta, then we want to go to DC, and then my dream location.
I love Black City's got it.
Yes, because it's Spades. Where else I'm gonna go?
You know,
but come on, because
right.
because that's the point. It's like, yo, like I want to wait before I get to that. My dream location to put this play up is New Orleans. New Orleans is one of my favorite cities in the world. I love New Orleans. Okay. And what's really odd to me for New Orleans being such a magical, vibrant, amazing city, they have no theater scene like that, which is very interesting to me. So I think this will be I think they will eat it up. If I'm thinking of New Orleans like how I know New Orleans, they will eat it up. So, you know, that's one of my dream cities. And then, you know, Houston, Chicago, Detroit, LA. We want to take, you know what I mean? Because I just think everyone deserves to experience this. And then what we want to do after that, then we're going to take it to the screen. Because I feel like these characters, Corey, Gil, and Andre, are interesting enough that we could follow their story after that night. You know what I mean? Because the play kind of ends on a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you're wondering like, well, what the fuck happens?
You're right.
That's where the show comes in. Now we're going to follow these characters, and, you know, we're going to follow their everyday life and what, you know, in New York City, because that's another thing too. I feel like, you know, there's been shows that take place in New York, but I feel like we haven't had a show that really depicts the everyday life as a black artist trying to make it in New York.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And just like, what's that everyday life, and like, what's that experience? You know, we got all kind of stories that done happen to us in New York City. You know what I'm saying? It's whether you're from there or not from there, but especially when you're not from there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you experience so many things, and I got stories for days. So I think this could be like almost like an Insecure or an Atlanta, like that kind of vibe. Yeah. But it takes place in New York, and what's always going to bring these characters back together is what? Spades. A game of spades. Exactly.
Perfect. So I know we're running up on time. My last question for you, I want to know, especially from you who has just kind of went, you know, thought you was going one way, then was inspired by something else. And then, you know, I want to know what advice you have for young actors who, you know, just trying to get through, you know, just this industry, which we know is very, very tough, and also not really I won't say not the best, but challenging for people of color. I would love to know your advice.
Embrace the journey. Embrace the journey. I think that, you know, because of social media and, you know, the age we're in now, everybody thinks things are supposed to happen immediately, or it's supposed to happen right away, or they see things and they think it's an overnight success. Hell no. As I just said, I started writing this 10 years ago. 10. And now the stars are finally aligning for it to happen. I've of course tried to put it up in previous years, but, you know, I would end up, I'm filming something. So that kind of takes away my time. And on top of that, like, you know, I was still like workshopping the script and editing and taking out things and adding things. And, you know, my experiences in life kind of informed certain characters or certain, you know, certain dialogue in the script. Yeah. So when I look back at it, it's like, yo, like the 10 years was necessary. Yeah. You understand what I'm saying? The 10 years was necessary. Embrace the journey, no matter what it is. Because when you think about it, the journey is way more interesting than the destination. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You know when you work so hard for something, like, yo, I went through, and then you finally get it, and it's like, oh, yeah, I got it. I mean, it's great, but what means more, or what allows it, whatever that goal or destination is, it means more when you know what you had to go through in order to get that. And that's the journey. I have a tattoo right here, journey over destination. And the real quick, the reason why that's such an important quote to me, an Uber driver gave me that piece of knowledge. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't like talking to Ubers. That's not my thing. When I get in an Uber, I got my headphones in. Yeah. But I didn't have my headphones. And we just got to talking, and, you know, we're driving, because I was driving to go pick up my car. I was just purchasing a car. So, you know, it was a bit of a drive. And in that drive, he was like, yo, man, it's all about the journey. It's all about he kept saying that. He's like, it's all about the journey. I said, man, you're right. You know what I'm saying? Because we get so caught up in wanting the result. But like, yo, love the journey. The journey is so, you know what I mean? Because the journey is where the ups and downs are like, yo, you know what I had to go through? I thought I wasn't gonna, and then the last minute, yo, you know what I'm saying? It's like, that's what's interesting. Right. That's what's interesting. Right. You know what I'm saying? So like when we see biographies or biopics, we get that journey. How did they become so-and-so? That's what's the interesting part. Embrace that journey.
All right, so thank you, Marcus, for chatting with us. And again, this summer, New York, Spades the play. And where can everybody get more information? Check us out.
For now, just go to my Instagram at Distant Loving on Instagram. You'll get all the information there. Of course, you know, we'll be, you know, we're gonna have an Instagram page for Spades, website, and all that. We're actually about to do another reading soon. So I'm just kind of getting ready for that. And yeah, man, come to New York this summer. First of all, New York is popping in the summer. New York is popping. Come on, man.
I wasn't going to see you, but the summer I could come.
The summer, right? Don't come. It's cold. It's cold. You know what I'm saying? Come in the summertime.
Awesome. Perfect. Well, thank you so much, my brother.